And we are now live on our second to last episode on YouTube broadcast of the Sweet Science TV. And before we get started in this episode, the Sweet Science Television would like to send our condolences to Pernell Whitaker's family for their loss.
Rest in peace, Pernell Whitaker.
For the boxing community's loss.
This one's for you, brother.
Chug, 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 chug. There we go. All right, so we've been gone for a little bit, but we're now back. We've just been trying to catch up on things and how to progress with the, with our podcast and our series. We may have to switch it up the way we do it, whether it just be straight audio moving forward or another sort of platform we could utilize in the future due to YouTube actually ending the usage of Google Hangouts, which has given you the gift of the Sweet Science Television. So moving forward, we're going to have to change platforms or the way we utilize YouTube at least, but we'll work on that. So that's what we've been trying to figure out recently. But we'll get that squared away. But in the meantime, I do want to get into what is going to be the biggest fight of the summer, and that's going to be Manny Pacquiao versus Keith one-time Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman, he's coming in with a record of 30 fights, 29 wins, and 1 no contest. So he has a very strong record, but as you know, he went on hiatus with I believe, a elbow injury. Pac-Man, he hasn't been as active as well, but he's still active and he's looking good in training. Robbie, what's your thoughts moving forward into this weekend of great boxing? What do you predict? What have you seen in regards to their camps, and just what's the energy been like in Madison, Wisconsin, in regards to this upcoming bouts between these two champions?
First and foremost, rest in peace once again to Pernell Whitaker and his family. Things like that happen, and we gotta, keep things in perspective. You never know when it's your last moment.
Don't drink and drive.
So gotta be careful, or whatever was going on there. We can't speculate, but also it's pretty nice to be back on the show. There was a little lull in actual content as well.
Yes.
As it is summer and people do have different plans, different things going on. So we're happy. We always try to get on for the these kind of bouts, these kind of big matches, and we do have a good track record of covering these fights. So man, time has flown by, and we are just a couple days away from Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. And I'm really.
It feels like it was yesterday where we were discussing the contract negotiations. Now we're actually at the commencement of this fight week.
And guys, you can look at our past few episodes. We did mention it. We were holding back a little bit because it's like you're far away from the fight. You don't want to break it down all the way.
Now's the time.
So far away. And now's the time. And I'm thinking.
Time is now.
I'm thinking. Keith Thurman has not looked that great. I watched the Josecito Lopez fight. Not since the surgery. Elbow surgery is serious, man. That's serious for a boxer. That's real.
That's his bread and butter. One time.
I mean, this guy looked phenomenal before the surgery, and everybody was predicting this guy's going to end up being one of the big champions out there. And there's still time. But, man, I thought Josecito Lopez was just one tap away from putting Thurman down and knocking him out in that fight. I know he won that fight because he did win. He did win most of the rounds. But Josecito Lopez showed us that Thurman is very sloppy, and his movement, his legs are not there the way they used to be. And I think that maybe he gained it back. I saw his hard training. I saw, him really putting in effort for this camp. But I think, man, Pacquiao has looked phenomenal. What do you think, Efren?
From what I've seen in training, Pac-Man looks like he's 27, 28. He's looking like he's in prime form still. Definitely got the footwork going, which is probably the most important part, especially at the age of 40 where he's at.
His calves, bro.
His
they're
calves
like
are a
they're
monstrosity.
giant. They're giant. That's the
His
size of
calves are a
his
monstrosity.
calves are the size of your head or my head, dude. His
You,
calves are giant fucking legs for a little guy.
you can attribute that to his boxing, or you can attribute that to his military training. He is a colonel in the Filipino army. I just want to throw that out there as a fun fact.
And he potentially could be the next president of the Philippines. You know, that's another thing going on too.
Yeah, Grammy Award-winning artist as a singer as well. He did drop a debut album.
I enjoyed his rendition of the national anthem on the 4th of July. You guys can YouTube that. It's there. It's available. I mean, I really like Pac-Man. I like Pac-Man as just a dude, like a real lighthearted individual. But when you get in the ring with that dude, he's ferocious. And the way he beat up Adrian Broner, if you guys out there didn't see that fight, that was one of Pac-Man's comeback fights, and people thought Broner can put him down.
Give yourself a midsummer treat and, pour yourself a tall glass of lemonade and rewatch that fight.
Pull it up.
That was a great fight.
Because watching him take apart this fake-ass Mayweather, shit-talking-ass Broner, it's pretty fun. And Pacquiao just smiles, Hey, man.
Pac-Man's been doing a lot of smiling lately, too.
He's been
when it comes to Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman, in regards to extracurricular activities with the two fighters, Keith Thurman has been making a lot of noise in regards to how he feels he'll make a giant statement, how he feels he's superior, and how he feels that Manny Pacquiao is at this point over the hill of what was his illustrious career.
And he's making the point to say he's going to knock him out, this and that. Man, Broner said the same shit. And it ended up being just a brutal beating for Broner. And he's the only one in the world who thought he won that fight.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that a lot of the talk that they've been discussing amongst each other is who's gonna knock out who has more power. Does Pac-Man still have power? Is Keith Thurman's power still in that elbow? And I'm gonna say that it's not really about the power for this fight. This fight is gonna come down to footwork. Now, Keith Thurman's only had one fight in God knows how long, so his activity's not there. And Pac-Man has the footwork still. So whoever displays the best footwork is gonna land a better shot, and I feel it's gonna result in the winner of the fight.
I think Pac-Man's footwork is probably, not, you can never match that run he had in the mid to late 2000s. But his footwork is the best I've seen it. Honestly, he's looked good. Even that Joe Horn fight that they stole from him, he looked great in that fight. So in my mind, that's a win. I mean, Joe Horn, this guy was they asked him if he can continue. Well, that's a different story. But
that's neither here nor there.
That's neither here nor there. But Pacquiao has looked like he's on the rise at the peak of what a former great champion could be. And Thurman has looked like he hit his peak before the injury, and he's been exposed by exchanges. And I don't think Keith Thurman's defense is going to be good for that straight left hand, because he's Pac-Man's a southpaw, but he likes to throw that left hand in an awkward way that'll go straight through Thurman's defense. And that's the thing that dude's always had a hole in his defense, but his power was able to keep guys off of him. So now that, he's lost a step, Thurman has lost a step. I mean, at least from gauging the last fight, maybe he got it back. But if his defense hasn't improved, Pacquiao's going to capitalize of smacking him with that weird straight left from a southpaw that can come at different angles. And I think that's going to be the difference in the fight. I don't think there's going to be a knockout in this fight, contrary to, Freddie Roach saying he thinks Pac-Man will end him in the ninth. I don't think it's going to be – the ref could stop it. I mean, this could be a straight-up war. But I think I like Pac-Man in this fight. But it's gonna come. It could come down to judges, and we can come back on the show and debate. So it's very interesting.
Right. Now you don't know what'll happen. Just like Juan Manuel Marquez, he caught Pac-Man. I think that was a fight where I saw Pac-Man. You know, he was holding his own. He was actually doing pretty well, probably in the scorecards as well. But Juan Manuel Marquez caught that one shot that literally ended his evening and decapitated him in front of his wife. Now, after seeing that fight years ago, I don't want to put it past Thurman that he might be able to land something similar that will definitely put Pacquiao out. So there's always that possibility of with a puncher's chance. He has a puncher's chance.
I think that's the one he wants. Thurman wants that right. He wants to hit him with the right and hurt him, and then he can do his thing. So if Pacquiao is able to avoid that big right hand, like flush, if he can avoid that like flush, like a clean one, the whole fight, and have Thurman wanting to get it, but keep being aggressive to Keith Thurman, where Thurman likes to back up and kind of dance around you, not quite dance, but he likes to move around. So if Pacquiao can be an aggressor the majority of the fight and not allow him to wind the right, then I think Pacquiao should win convincingly. I just think, man, he's just a great fighter at this age. He's a great fucking fighter, man.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and make a big prediction here. I'm gonna say Keith Thurman knockout in the 8th.
Wow, that is pretty bold.
It's a bold one, but here at the Sweet Science, I don't like to hold back.
You know what? Instead of shuffling, dancing around, bobbing and weaving, I'm gonna go ahead and say final prediction for this fight. If we're gonna go there, I'm gonna say Manny Pacquiao with a stoppage by the referee in the 10th round.
Yeah, when it comes to the stoppage, I've seen Manny's.
Keith Thurman wants to fight, but as we've seen, he really his face cuts easily, and he bruises. His bruises welt up bigger than I've seen on most fighters. So I don't know if that's ethnicity or genome, DNA. I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm just a sweet scientist, But it seems Thurman swells up pretty bad, so he could look worse than he is. And I think the referee's gonna have to say no mas for you, no mas for you, Keith Thurman.
The only thing I can say is I haven't seen Keith Thurman stopped, but I have seen Manny Pacquiao stopped.
And I've seen him knocked out.
I'm gonna have to trust my.
I'm gonna stopped by a referee. I'm talking about a beating. That's what I think's gonna really go down. I think Thurman's gonna get his ass beat. That's gonna be my real.
I definitely think Keith Thurman will take an ass whooping, like without a doubt. Keith Thurman will take an ass whooping.
You think
but he's gonna land? He's gonna land the one that's gonna get him back in, and he's gonna land a couple more in a flurry. That's gonna put Pac-Man down for good, and that's where Keith Thurman will then reascend into the names of other welterweight greats. Like
I thought you were gonna say he's gonna ascend to heaven. Like, yo, whoa,
no,
whoa,
no, I don't think he'll be there. I don't think you'll find Keith Thurman there ever. But he will.
Ben Gotti will be his late trainer. Ben Getty. I mean, he'll be smiling down if that happens.
As will Whitaker.
As well as Purnell. Sweet Pea, Whitaker.
He will be smiling down on Keith Thurman.
I think Manny takes this.
That's my prediction.
Takes the belt, and I think if he wins this fight, he should retire. He should leave it, end it.
I think he should definitely retire. If Keith Thurman wins the fight, I think he needs to just go straight for the gusto with Errol Spence
and get his ass beat.
Just let's not beat around the bush.
Have to take that beating from Spence. And that's the one thing I want to get to before we're finishing up. If it comes to the judges,
or maybe he'll fight Amir Khan.
If it comes to the judges, we'll talk about that in 1 second. If it comes to the judges, who do the judges really want? Do they want the old man to win? No, they want Thurman to win, so you can get that next fight And PBC has a lot of juice on that fight if Thurman fought Errol Spence. So let's keep it hondo on this show.
I think, if it comes down to cards, they're probably going to sway.
He ain't getting no favor.
Not anymore. Keith Thurman's record's clean. 29 wins, 0 knockouts. I mean, 0 losses.
You can sell that. You can
0 draws. And a win over Pac-Man automatically adds that seasoning to your record. So I don't think they'll go in favor of Pac-Man when it comes to the cards. They could be fair, but that usually is not the case. And in that case, I'm going to say they're going to favor Keith Thurman.
Thank you. I just, my conspiracy theories, I don't like to get too out there, but I feel like there's a lot
Area 51
with that one. Well, yeah, that could be possible. But another thing, before we get to the finale here, Sean Porter, really, that was an excellent fight. I watched that fight twice, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and I thought Sean Porter, the way he fought Thurman, Pacquiao can do that style better coming at Thurman. That's the way to beat Thurman.
He can.
Like a bulldog. Just keep coming at him. Because then Thurman can't do that lazy wide right and knock you out. He
can't do that at that point,
punch.
right?
It's a dangerous punch.
But I think Thurman learned from those mistakes from that previous fight. I think he actually learned from his last fight where he took everything for granted in a way where he just assumed it was going to be an easy win. And I think that was a wake-up call. And just preparing for this fight, it's going to be like eye-opening for him because he's aware he's not fighting the can. He's fighting, as Harris calls it, a bucket of fish heads.
Well, that's what Harris said, so we'll quote him on that, and that's
correct.
That's his assessment, and we'll let him stand by that. Josecito Lopez was no tomato can by any means. He was just one of those crazy fighters that ends up not going by what he wanted to do. He could have beat Thurman in that fight. So that to me that's a real chink in the armor, as they say. It's a real that's a little nip in the armor right there. So you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that.
You gotta keep an eye out for that.
Gotta make sure but that's all I got really about this fight, and we're excited. We're gonna try to do a pop-up show.
We're gonna do a pop-up shop.
It should be happening, right?
Saturday.
Are we pretty much confirmed for that? Pre-fight are we doing, or
it's gonna be pre? It could be both. I don't know.
We might do both. We might have two shows in one day.
Right to the boxing god, see what happens.
And we are gonna be making some adjustments. What was that?
We'll let the fans decide.
Yeah, we'll let the fans decide. We might do 2, 1 pre, 1 post. We'll see how we feel. So there might be some raw emotions. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pulling for Manny Pacquiao.
There might be some political incorrectness.
And that's what it is. We say some shit on this show, and
verbiage on the line.
It's all entertainment. It's all entertainment.
It's all for a good reason, a good cause. So.
And this is what episode is this? This is our 10. This is our 10th episode, y'all. This is our 10th episode. And
I just want to remind our fans also, though, unfortunately, again, Hangouts on Air is going away August 1st from YouTube. So prepare for an audible in regards to the platform you will continue to either view us or listen to us on.
And we are on social media on all platforms, and we'll keep you updated.
At Sweet Science TV on Instagram and Twitter. Melagod is in charge of that social media aspect of the channel. So he continues to update those on a.
He's pretty good about that. He's been pretty good about keeping that updated. I know he was at the Cubs game
as well.
I know Melagod was at the Cubs.
Melagod was at the Cubs game,
so he was having a good time. And hey, shout out to Melagod, I guess.
Yep. And I just want to touch on one last thing, which is the Amir Khan fight, because he's a
guy.
On this cat.
He's a guy.
He became a guy after he quit in his last fight.
Yeah.
Against Crawford. But he did fight an Indian. Indian, not really sure his record. To be honest, I've never heard of the guy.
All the camera work was horrible in that fight. Every
just
avenue I looked to find the highlights, it looked like a guy in the crowd with a phone.
I think my favorite aspect of that fight is not even the fight; it's the fan reactions. Everyone thinks that Amir Khan's back, and he's not back. He just fought Tommaso Khan. Let's not overreact.
Oh no, he's not back. No, he fought.
They're saying he's back. No,
this dude that sells cell phones, dude. Come on, man. He fought a random.
That was disgusting. That's a shameful.
Who's Billy Dibb? Billy Dibb, is that his fucking name? Who the fuck is that guy? And then he won a fake title. It's a WBC Asian championship. Why is there gotta be a race like Asia? Oh, Asia. That's like if the WBC had North American champion. Like, what the fuck, man? There's already like 6 belts or something like that.
It's a very local.
So you beat that villager's ass. You beat that guy's ass, and then you get, I don't know. Saudis paid him a lot of money. He said. So,
if they wanted to have that, if Amir Khan wanted to give a good fight, he should have fought that guy in the Ganges River. And
you should have fought him on a barge.
Cow corpses float by.
Falls off.
That's something I would watch. That's something I would like to watch.
Falls off the barge. That's it. You win.
That's it.
Knock him off.
With some alligators.
And then if you fall in the Ganges, I think if you fall in the Ganges, you disintegrate. That's what.
Rest in peace, Wizard Mandrake.
Yeah, there was a magician, by the way, Mandrake.
Indian.
In India, he was a magician. He locked himself.
He was doing the Houdini, where you lock yourself in the cage,
chain yourself
while you're underwater.
They throw him
yourself, and then you come back up and breathe. Unfortunately, he didn't have the skill set of a Houdini, and he ended up dying.
Ganges River. You can't play around with that.
Can't play around with that. Let that be a lesson to everyone.
I think he just turned into mush when he jumped in, but I digress. Yeah. Rest in peace, though, that magician. But that would have been interesting. Yeah, hey, they're fighting. But they fought in some random Saudi.
What if they were fighting and then the corpse washed up onto the ring?
That would be amazing. The stakes would be high.
What if Wizard Mandrake's body just washed up next to the ring?
The stakes would be extremely high after you see just a corpse wash up and be like, "Whoa, we're boxing right now."
That would be poetic. That would be poetic.
But yeah, Amir Khan. What
Amir Khan's back.
Amir Khan's back, or he's still a fraud collecting a check.
He's collecting a check before he goes back to.
I'm gonna have to take the latter, Your Honor, and say Amir Khan, quote unquote, tweeted or said something to Mayweather and said, "You don't know about that Arab money." God help us! Somebody help me! I'm dead. Do we need him to fight Triple G? Do we need him?
Yes. I want him to fight Andy Ruiz.
I want Khan to get knocked out again just because he's all bullshit.
He's a quitter.
But yeah, we don't want to let Khan take up too much time in this amazing broadcast, the 10th episode of the Sweet Science.
I think that pretty much touched everything. Just again for the fans, make sure you guys tune in this Saturday. There'll be one show at least for sure. Will there be
maybe two? I'm
gonna have to let you guys just send the right now.
We'll see how long that fight goes.
We'll see how long the fight goes. What condition my body's in.
What kind of party favors everybody has brought, and we'll see how that rolls out. We might do a sloppy, quick post fight, and that'll be kind of fun. We'll just all be going, we'll try to keep it together. But man, we're looking forward to a big fight. We're looking for a big fight, and watch it by any means. We're not here to endorse any pay-per-view service or anything of that like.
You watch it on Fight TV, the app.
Hey man, you find a stream, you do whatever you do. We're here. We're not endorsing any illegal streams, but hey, guys, watch the fight. Join us in our conversations, and the Sweet Science will live on. The Sweet Science TV, and shout out to this establishment, Pooley's Bar and Event Center.
Shout out to Eduardo.
Shout out to one of our top fans, Estuardo, as well.
One of
Happy
many
to have
fans.
happy to have the show here and just kind of chilling in this kind of man cave atmosphere. So
I'm going to end this special episode with an actual song written by Manny Pacquiao. It currently has 1.8 million views on YouTube. It's called La La Bon Echo. And I'm going to go ahead and cue this bad boy up for y'all because this is probably one of his biggest hits.
Tinatanong sa aking isipan, bakit kailangang husgahan?
Shout out to Jake.
hey, shout out to Jake.
Shout out to Jake Shario.
Jake Suaro.
Upang tayo'y pakinggan,
Shout out to all the Filipinos out there.
To all our Filipino fan base in the Philippines.
Maybe he'll become president.
Maybe he'll become president or general because he is in the Army. He is a Grammy Award-winning artist. He is a Hall of Fame boxer. He's arguably one of the greatest figures.
He beat Oscar De La Hoya. He beat Oscar De La Hoya's ass.
He beat Oscar De La Hoya's ass. Oscar De La Hoya said that's the fight that put him into retirement.
That was the ass whipping it took to put Oscar De La Hoya away.
And also got him off the bandwagon. Off the wagon, period.
Oh.
And that's it. Episode 10 is a wrap.